Thank you for tuning in. This is Brian Q from over at brianqblog.wordpress.com. This is going to be a reaction video. I don't do these. I think this is actually my first one that I'm posting out there. And this is going to be a reaction to the Daredevil TV show on Netflix, the entire season. So minor spoilers. I'm not going to really talk too much about the details of the show, more so my reactions. And it took me a while to come up with something to say because obviously the show's come out, and if you know anything about it, if you've been reading the internet, a lot of overwhelming support about the show, that it's been greatly received. It's really hitting home. It's gritty. It's dark. And me, I'm going to say the same thing. Yes, it's great. I love it. I've watched the entire series maybe 5 times now. But what I wanted to get across is just my absolute love for the character. I've loved Daredevil since I was about 14, 13 years old, and I used to read him religiously, man. I read Born Again. I loved him. The yellow costume, I loved him in the black, I loved him in the armor, all that stuff. I really dug Daredevil. And so when the show came out, I was just really anticipating some good stuff coming because Marvel has been hitting like crazy. So when I watched the first episode, I knew the tone, and what got me going was seeing him move. And I was watching the show with a friend of mine, and I was having like a little bit of tears as you see Daredevil come out, fight for the first time in the black on the freights against Turk. I was going crazy, and what got me was just the way how he moved, how fast this guy was. Because when you're reading the books, and to a certain degree, the animated show when he was on Spider-Man, he didn't move the way I thought he did. He was a big guy. He was Matt Murdock, but he wasn't the way I thought Daredevil should be. And in the movie with Ben Affleck, he had it, right? It was a little too much, though, right? Because he jumped over buildings, and he was very, very agile. But they got the agility right. And in this one, they sped up his movements just enough to make it look like it's a little off. But that's how it's supposed to be, and how fast this guy is. And there's a moment in the first episode where he's fighting Turk's men on the freight, on the docks, rather. He kicks a guy in the face. He does like a back capoeira move, comes back, punches a guy in the face, and it happens like that. And then he hears Turk with the gun, he starts shooting him. And Daredevil just starts scurrying, but he scurries in such a badass way, goes up the freight, stops. And that was it. And I knew I was in right there. They got me hooked. They had me. Because someone decided to look at the books, and someone said, this is how this man should move. And that's how I thought he should move, right? And this is such a little thing, right? But it really went a long way, especially going forward with the series, on how dedicated the source material, or the creators were, to the source material, and how much, just fun they had with the show. And they got Matt Murdock right for me. They got everything essentially right for me. I was digging the hell out of it. I dug the swag that Matt Murdock had, man. That's one thing that I was really hoping they got right. And in the movie, they kind of did too. I mean, don't knock the movie too much. Ben Affleck was pretty damn nice. He had the swag. He was very much the lady killer. He's the devil, bro. He will slay your chick. And that's exactly what Matt Murdock's like. He says it in the show. He doesn't take pity on himself. He doesn't want anyone to feel sorry for him. And in fact, he'll use you being sorry for him for his advantage. And that's what he does. And that's how he uses his blindness. This man when I was growing up, I don't come disabilities. I'm not blind, I'm not deaf. I'm very lucky and fortunate to have everything that I have. But here's a man who's blind, but who has the ability to see so much. And he uses his gift so well in the show, to the point that he sees better than anyone in the world. And there's a point in the show, and I was watching it with a friend, and we're watching the fight, and this is the vertical Old Boy fight. Again, I'm not going to spoil what it is. If you know Old Boy, you just YouTube best fight scene in the world. It's going to show you a nice horizontal layout of a one-shot in this movie called Old Boy, where he fights a lot of dudes in a hallway with a hammer. They kind of replicate that, but they do it vertically. And it's a one-shot. Trust me, it's a one-shot. And it's Daredevil taking out these Russian child molester guys. And there's a part in the fight, towards the very end, where Daredevil's kind of tired. He's beating these guys up. And notice, they don't land a hit on him, because they're not supposed to. Daredevil doesn't get touched. Only the big guys beat him up, and that's where he gets roughed up. But the low life guys, they can't touch him. And he's fighting these dudes, and there's a guy on the ground, and Daredevil does a flip and punches him in the face, punches him right in the face. Evil, punches evil in the face. And my friend goes, why'd he do the flip though? He could have just punched him in the face. And it's little things like that really kick into the Daredevil, because again, he's blind. He is blind, so all he's hearing are the groans of the men that he's laid out to the right of him. To the left, he knows there's something there, but he does the flip so that when he does the flip, the vibrations off his body and the wind reverberating through the walls as he's breaking it give him a quick radar of, all right, that's to the left of me, that's to the right of me, that's right there. Punch you in the face. So quick, man. So quick. So obviously, as you can see, I'm gushing over this stuff. I'm probably going to watch this series maybe 5 more times. I'm excited for season 2. I'm excited for 6 years, 7 years down the line. What's going on with this character? I want to see how he's introduced into the the upper echelon. Captain America's, the Iron Man's. Does he get involved with the Avengers? Maybe not. I know the Defenders are coming to Netflix, but how badass would that be, right? Luke Cage, I'm excited for. Iron Fist. Oh, let's get ready for that. Jessica Jones. I kind of don't know Jessica Jones. I've never been a big fan just because I haven't been, I haven't seen too much of the source material. But once the show comes out, I'm sure I'm going to get into it. Marvel's hitting like for everything right now. Ant-Man is probably going to do crazy. And even though I don't like Ant-Man, I'm still going to watch it. So I'm very excited to see what's going on. But the Daredevil, if you're a fan of the guy, fan of the character, watch the show. Dig it. One thing I kind of took me out, but I appreciated it, was the height. I always viewed Daredevil as a Michael Phelps guy. Big and lean. But Charlie Cox, who's a great freaking actor, man. He's a British cat who was in Stardust with Henry Cavill, Superman. And he's my height. He's like 5'9", 5'10"-ish. And there's a point in the show, towards the tail end, where he's standing over a building. Or no, not standing over. He's standing on a building, on a rooftop. And he's looking over the city. And I believe it's one of actually the last shots of the series, yeah. And it kind of took me out. Because he looked like a guy in a costume. He looked like a kid in a costume, really. Because the costume isn't as tight as the Daredevil comic book, so it's not showing how lean he is. And he also doesn't have that imposing figure. But it was quickly erased when he does the jump and all that stuff. But I don't know, that just kind of threw me off a little bit. It's such a minor gripe that Charlie Cox is my Daredevil. I'm not going to make his height be anything that takes me out of it like crazy. But that was just one thing that I caught, maybe a different angle, kind of give him that more imposing figure. But really, other than that, the show's been amazing. And I can't wait for what happens next. Daredevil is going to be something that I can talk to people about now. Because before, it was just, hey, you like Iron Man? I don't like Iron Man, but you want to talk about it? I can, talk some facts. I love me some Captain America, and we can finally talk about that. But Daredevil, that was my dude, man. I love to see some Matt Murdock. And his stories get crazy and tragic, but the beauty of Daredevil is that he doesn't see himself as a tragic character. All this crap happens to him. Every girlfriend he has pretty much dies. Not a spoiler for the movie, for the series. It plays like a movie for the series, but that is the comic books. He lives such a tragic life, but he doesn't view it that way, and they address it in the series. A lot of fantastical elements as well. We get some hand stuff, some chastity stuff, and it's just sky's the limit right now. Big ups to Marvel. They obviously don't need my approval. They already have it, and they have everyone else's. So if you're on the fence, watch it. It's Netflix, right? You already have it, so might as well just check it out. Give it an hour. After the first episode, watch the first episode and 20 minutes of the second, and then you're hooked, man. Because you see, at the same time, you see this man, this freaking beast of a man, Daredevil, invoking justice. And then you see him seeing him how mortal he can be. Seeing how hard it's going to be for this guy. But then you see how class he is. You see how freaking nice this dude is. Takes his cuts and says, watch out. I'm going to beat the crap out of these fools. Hits you with a fire extinguisher, you know what I'm saying? Watch the show. Dig it. Daredevil, big fan. I can't wait for season 2. I know it's gonna be like another year, but yeah, man, I'm cloud nine, and I'm very happy that I have this medium to kind of talk about this because again, I sat there for like hours or days rather, figuring out what to say. I mean, what to say that hasn't already been said. And to me, the takeaway is Matt Murdock, man. The speed, the freaking swag that Murdock has, the speed of how he moves, just a little running, man, just some runs. Watch, just appreciate that stuff, man. Daredevil's unique, one of a kind. Check it out, try it out. For more articles, go over to brianqblog.wordpress.com. Video games, sometimes some sports, sometimes a bit of both. I don't do too much of TV or movies anymore, but for stuff like this, I'll make the exception. And thank you so much. Again, my name is Brian Q. brianqblog.wordpress.com is the site. Check it out for the articles and the videos similar to like these. And I'll see you on the flip side. Take care.